Greetings, my brothers and sisters. I invite you to reflect with me today on the theme, Speak, Lord, your servant is listening. This theme is drawn from the first book of Samuel, chapter 3, verse 10. It comes from the core of the prophet Samuel. Samuel was only a boy when the Lord called him. But one thing clearly is that Samuel was living in the temple. He was living in the house of God. He was disposed to listen to God. But he had not yet heard and known how the Lord speaks and how the Lord speaks to his people. And so he needed the prophet Eli to help him recognize the Lord's voice and inviting him. The Lord speaks to each one of us. The Lord speaks to every one of us individually. The Lord spoke to me when I was back home in Zambia. The Lord speaks to you wherever you are. And in different ways, the Lord speaks to each one of us. Some of us, the Lord speaks to us from our places of work. Others, the Lord speaks to them from their own families. Whereas for many of us, the Lord speaks to us when we are at church. But at the same time, there are so many things out there that distract us from listening to the Lord when the Lord is speaking to us. In our world today, especially in the Western world, there are so many good things that we experience and we go through. Some of these good things, if we do not experience them with the right attitude, can lead us away from God. But what is necessary is that everything that God created, He created good. And everything should lead us eventually to Himself. What we ought to do is listen. Listen to what the Lord speaks to us. When I was back home in Zambia, growing up in a diocese founded by the Capuchin missionaries, we were taught to listen to ourselves, to listen to what God is saying within ourselves, but above all, to spend time to look at our own parents and to see how they have lived their lives. When we take time to listen to what is happening in our own hearts, when we take time to look at the experience of our own parents and others, we see God, we hear Him speak to us from the depth of our own hearts. What is God saying to you today? How is God speaking to you? How are you going to listen to Him? The first thing that I invite you to do is focus on who God is. Secondly, focus on yourself. Who are you and what is God looking for in your own life? And thirdly, others. The Lord gives us joy. The Lord gives us peace. Going back to Samuel, as a young boy who had not yet known or heard how the Lord spoke to him, he went to the prophet Eli, and Eli said to him, "When you hear that voice, just say, 'Speak, Lord, your servant is listening.'" And maybe that's what we ought to do. All we need to do today is to say, "Speak, Lord, your servant is listening." And when the Lord speaks to us, the Lord invites us to Himself. The Lord will draw us into the fullness of His love and His mercy. God bless you. God be with you. God protect you. Thank you.